Hi. It's really dark and really cold right now. I'm hoping you can see me okay. The lights aren't too bad, but it's quite suitable for what I want to talk about. Because like these great Nordic myths that we all know and love, you know, all those characters, like the big ones like Odin, Thor, Loki, like these big ones, you know, it's kind of clear what they represent. Odin is wisdom, could be sacrifice. Loki could be chaos, but also intellect, and also madness. But you, with the big three, let's call them that, you've been given like these entrances to what they could represent, and therefore you've been given a key to unlock the wisdom that is embedded in these great stories that we call Norse mythology. But tonight, as I sit in this cold autumn night next to the fireplace, I would like to talk about someone that is somewhat lesser known. I want to talk about Jörmungandr, the world serpent. Now, in this video, I want to talk about who he is. I want to talk about what he represents. And knowing what he represents, I want to look at the myths that feature him and what we can learn from those myths. And I also want to talk about his physical representation, because I believe in this day and age, Jörmungandr, the world serpent, still has a physical representation. It's still possible to feel it and to touch it in this day and age. But I'll get to that in the last part of the video. So Jörmungandr is, as most of you know, one of the children of Loki. He had a relationship with the witch Angerboda, which gave them 3 children: Fenrir, Hel, and Jörmungandr. Now Jörmungandr is described as the world serpent that encircles the world of man. Now when I first read that, I closed my eyes and I saw like planet Earth, and I saw this dragon circling it. Turns out that wasn't really the case, but that's how my mind's eye pictured it the first time. So I started reading, and then it said Odin put him in the ocean, and that's where he stays. And when Jörmungandr bites his own tail, the sea is quiet. But when he is disturbed, like for instance when Thor does battle with him, the whole ocean starts moving violently. So I thought, if his home is water, the ocean, what could water represent? Well, I know that when you dream about water, the water represents your feelings. I had lots of dreams about water, so I looked it up many times. Maybe you have a dream similar to that. Maybe you have a dream that there's a boat and the water is just really rough, the sea is really rough. Well, the meaning of that dream could be that the boat is you and the sea is your feelings. So you're about to capsize, your life is about to crash because you can't control your feelings anymore. So with that in mind, what could Jörmungandr represent? Well, if the sea is the water, Jörmungandr doesn't live on the water, he lives beneath the water. So in your dreams, when you're on the water, when you go underwater, what's under your feelings? It's your subconscious. So Jörmungandr is a big beast. that lives in your subconscious. And let's be honest, don't we all have some big beasts in our subconscious? So I think Jörmungandr is our subconscious and the demons we keep there. Like that sentence, like when Jörmungandr bites his tail, nothing is wrong. The ocean is quiet. Your feelings are quiet. What is meant by that is, if you just leave your subconscious, if you just leave it alone, everything's quiet. Like, for instance, have you ever talked to a homeless person? Like, really bought him a beer and sit down and talk to him? Their lives are terrible, but the ocean of their feelings appears quiet. They have this subconscious feeling. You know, maybe it's like, I'm not good, I'm not deserve anything, I don't like people, I want to be left alone. And when they leave that alone, they're quiet. Makes me think of that myth where Thor, Donar, the thunder god, goes out fishing. He goes fishing with a giant, and the giant says, don't row too far. Well, Thor, of course, being incredibly strong and the strongest of the gods, indeed rows too far. He goes fishing and he hooks the Midgard serpent. And the strongest of the gods even tries to lift him out of the ocean. Did he do it? No, even the strongest of the gods couldn't pull Jörmungandr out of the ocean. What does that mean? If Jörmungandr is your subconscious, it's a difficult word, that story represents the thunderer trying to make your subconscious conscious. Thor in this story represents, of course, strength, but also mental strength. So that story is telling you that even if you are the son of Odin, even if you are the most strongest of all the gods, even you can't make the subconscious totally conscious. You can pull it up and you can look at it. For a while it will take a lot of strength and a lot of energy, but your subconscious will always be there, and it will always be your subconscious. I think that's the lesson from that myth. Now, of course, you have the myth called Ragnarok. Thor battles Jörmungandr, but does he defeat him? Yes, he does, but he loses his life in the process. He does. I think the meaning of that is, if you do battle with your subconscious, you know, you might be victorious, but it will cost you your life, because all those demons that are below the surface are also part of you. You can't kill it without killing yourself. So I think that's the lesson, and I think that's the meaning of one of these three children of Loki. That's the meaning of the world serpent. Now, for the final part of this video, thanks for sticking with me for so long, by the way. Does he have a physical representation? I think he does. I don't know if I will put it in the thumbnail or not, but there is a thing called volcanic fault lines. I might put it in the thumbnail, I might not, but if you Google volcanic fault lines, you get a map of planet Earth, and you basically see where the continents, where the Earth below the sea, where there are these fault lines in which create a lot of earthquakes and floods. But if you look at the map, it becomes really clear, because the map is just, it's one line, and it just goes around the world. There is a line that encircles the world of man, as the Norse myths put it, and it's the volcanic fault line. And Jörmungandr, you know, makes the sea really rough, makes earthquakes and floods just like the volcanic fault lines. But it gets even crazier. If you look at that map closely, and you can see like this line moving across the earth in the ocean, but when you come to Ireland, Sweden, the line splits, so it becomes like this. So you could interpret that as the snake's head. So maybe, you know, the priests and the vulvas of the Nordic tribes, maybe they traveled, they astral traveled, maybe they talked to the earth itself. Maybe that's how the earth spoke to them, and that's how they know that this was there. So on this dark and cold Dutch night, I bid you all farewell. Don't do too many battles with your subconscious, because if Thor couldn't make it, we don't stand a chance. Take care of yourself.